Today we're doing a deep dive into a topic that, well, it touches lives everywhere, really, but we're focusing in on a very specific place, breast cancer in Aruba, the beautiful small island nation. So our mission, essentially, is to take the sources you shared with us and pull out the most important bits about prevalence, trends, and what's actually being done to fight breast cancer there. We're kind of piecing together a puzzle today, looking at how this global health issue shows up in a really unique location and what the numbers tell us.
Yeah, and what's really insightful, I think, is how this dive sort of shines a light on broader public health challenges. Because even if the data isn't, perfectly up to the minute, it gives us such a vital baseline. It lets us get a handle on the landscape, connect the local stuff to wider concerns, and, well, see the groundwork that's being laid.
That foundation, yeah, that baseline is exactly what we need. So let's get into the specific data. We're starting with the Central Bureau of Statistics, CBS, Aruba, right? Their Health Monitor 2013. And the material you sent over, it mentions that, keeping these national cancer registries constantly updated, it can be tough for smaller places like Aruba. But this report, it still offers some really crucial kind of eye-opening insights. And thinking about that period, 2007 to 2010, there's one statistic that really jumps out. Breast cancer was the most frequently diagnosed cancer among women in Aruba. Over those 4 years, we're talking 212 new cases recorded.
Wow.
Yeah, and to put that into perspective, that figure was 46.5%, almost half of all new cancer diagnoses in women there during that time.
46.5%. That's substantial.
It really is. For an island that size, that kind of prevalence for one cancer type, it's a significant public health load. So what did the sources tell us about who is being impacted most? And what's the significance there?
Well, that's a really compelling part the sources highlight. The key demographic. A big majority of these cases, 75.9% specifically, were in women aged 45 to 74.
Okay, 45 to 74.
Exactly. And this concentration, as the sources really stress, it just underscores how absolutely vital targeted awareness campaigns and screening programs are, aimed right at that age group, to catch things early.
Makes sense. Precision public health, right?
Precisely. It allows for that targeted intervention.
Right. And we should probably acknowledge that hurdle, the one mentioned in our sources. For smaller nations, while this Health Monitor 2013 gives us this critical foundation, getting more recent, really comprehensive data on specific cancers like breast cancer from CBS Aruba, it might mean, contacting them directly. It's not always just sitting there in a public report.
Yeah, that's a common challenge, the real-time data collection aspect.
So, okay, this local data is one piece. But what happens when we kind of zoom out? Our sources do that. They broaden the view to the regional, even global picture, pulling in insights from places like the WHO and the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARITA. That's the region's public health watchdog, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where you start to see how Aruba's situation is, well, connected.
Right. It doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Exactly. CARFAS highlights something critical, something that really puts Aruba into context. Breast cancer is the leading cause of cancer deaths among Caribbean females. Full stop.
Leading cause of death. Okay.
Yeah. And here's a detail from the sources that really surprised me, actually. The incidence rates, so the rate of new cases diagnosed in the Caribbean are often higher than in the USA.
Higher than the U.S. Wow.
Yeah. Which makes you wonder, what are the underlying factors? Is it genetics, lifestyle, maybe healthcare access, issues unique to the region? The sources don't always pinpoint one single reason, do they?
No, they don't always give a definitive why, but that disparity itself, that's a powerful insight.
Yeah.
And if we connect that back, Aruba's situation, like you said, isn't isolated. It's very much part of this wider regional challenge. This Caribbean-wide trend just hammers home the need for continued monitoring prevention efforts, strong early detection programs, not just regionally, but specifically in Aruba. And it does raise that important question, how do smaller nations navigate these big, persistent health challenges that affect whole regions? Often with maybe fewer resources.
That regional perspective is so important, and it leads us right into what Aruba is actually doing, because it's not all just challenges, right? Our sources detail the proactive steps, like establishing a breast cancer screening center back in April 2016. And what's really compelling isn't just that the center exists, but how it specifically tackles the data we were just discussing.
Precisely. The sources are clear on this. That center actively invites women aged 25 to 75.
The exact group.
The exact group. For biannual breast exams. So it's not just some general health thing. It's a direct targeted response to that key demographic making up, what was it, nearly 76% of cases.
Yeah, just under 76%.
It's a really clear example of data driving the intervention. And that's just essential for early detection, for improving outcomes where screening is so critical. So really, to kind of reinforce the main message from the material we looked at, those CBS Aruba statistics, even being from 2013, they give us that vital baseline for understanding breast cancer's impact on the island. And it really matters that the efforts continue. Data collection, public awareness, accessible screening, these have to remain paramount in the ongoing fight in Aruba and, frankly, across the whole Caribbean. These are the levers, the proactive things that can make a real difference, even while everyone's working on getting more current data.
Okay, so wrapping this up for you, the listener, what does this all mean? We've seen the specific numbers in Aruba, how prevalent breast cancer was, particularly in that 2007-2010 snapshot. We've seen its concerning place within the wider Caribbean health picture, and also the focused, proactive steps Aruba's taken, like that screening center. It's really a clear picture of localized impact within a regional context, a snapshot of how a small island is tackling a major health challenge.
Yeah, and it really leaves us with an important question to think about, doesn't it, for you listening? In this world just swimming in information, what's the ongoing challenge for smaller nations? Not just to gather good health data, but to actually use that data effectively to drive public health initiatives that have real impact. And kind of building on that, how can continued awareness and screening maybe bridge some gaps when real-time information is lagging? How do we make sure that even with baseline data, adaptive health strategies can still move forward? It's really about finding that vital balance, isn't it, between understanding the past and actively trying to shape a healthier future.